Welcome back. We're going to be talking about the 2017 budget now, and just like 2016, 2017 also had some drama. We did hear that the budget was, I think, snatched from a certain senator's house. I mean, last year it was missing, and I don't know whether it was stolen, and we went through this back and forth before it got found again. And well, I have here with me Stanley Achonu, who's going to be helping me dissect the 2017 budget, which was finally passed on Thursday, I believe.
Yes.
The National Assembly did raise, Mr. President presented 7.28 trillion and was raised to 7.44 by the National Assembly. Just an overview of your thoughts on the budget.
So the increase came from the increase in the price of crude oil. The National Assembly did raise that, so the difference was what increased the size of the budget. There wasn't significant change from what the President presented. Most of the increase was distributed between the National Assembly adding 10 billion to theirs, and statutory transfer fund increased, and then the balance went to capital expenditure. So we have an increased capital expenditure this year. It went from 1.2 trillion this year to about 2.17 trillion. So that's a significant change from what we had last year.
People don't seem very excited about the capital expenditure for this year, because I mean, 2016 we all got very excited because I mean it was a massive increase from what 2015 presented, which was President Jonathan at the time did. You know, we're like, okay, we're going to start seeing things happen. But we didn't necessarily see, because there was no money, quote unquote, to execute, or even the budget.
Yeah, we said there is no money, but from the last data we have seen, the federal government fully funded the capital component of the budget to the tune of 1.2 trillion, according to the Minister of Finance. So basically, they are investing in infrastructure, road construction, and all of that. The results will not be immediate. Some of them will not be completed based on current
Was there any
funding.
capital project that stands out to you? What's exciting you about the 2017 budget?
I think that Lagos-Ibadan Expressway might finally be put behind us, and that would be a huge difference. There's a lot of funding going into the railway construction. The Chinese are funding part of it, and they're very insistent that we must provide our counterpart funding. So provision has been made. A huge chunk of that, of the capital expenditure, will go to funding the rail line, Lagos-Kano, Lagos-Calabar rail line as well.
Okay. Well, let's talk about National Assembly now, because the National Assembly always gets a lot of attention whenever the budget is passed, not just because they pass it, but because of what they allocate to themselves. Yeah. And there's been a lot of hoopla about this year's one in particular. So the National Assembly will spend 85.8 billion on overhead, right? 14.9 on capital projects, and 23.7 for personnel costs. Costs now. I mean, those are pretty crazy numbers for 400 people plus.
Let's not take for granted the fact that you're mentioning the numbers, because this is the first time we're seeing
the details.
These details. So that was a significant step, and it was at the heart of the campaign for openness that let's even see what the details are before we then begin to query how you're spending it. And as expected, the numbers are somewhat, not so surprising. It was almost as expected that accounting for how you spend that huge amount of money might become a little challenging. One instance of that got us worried was the amount that we're going to purchase of vehicles, and this is a yearly recurrence. Every time there's a major controversy in the National Assembly, there's a car-related issue. So this year they will be spending about 7 billion on purchase of vehicles, both the Senate, the House of Reps, the National Assembly Management, the National Assembly Service Commission, the legislative between all of these organs under the National Assembly will amount to 7.7 billion on vehicle purchases, and that 1.6 billion will go towards maintaining vehicles already in their car pool. The National Assembly complex maintenance, we get about 500 million. So there are also the internet connectivity for the National Assembly, we get about 600 million out there about.
A lot of Wi-Fi.
A lot of Wi-Fi to go around. I hope they're building startups in there.
Yeah, I know, right? There should be some hubs there.
There should be some hubs. But generally, it is now for Nigerians to question, this expenditure. They have a lot of legislative aids. We got about 6 billion to pay their salary, another 1 billion for commission and all sorts of payment that will go to those legislative aids. But we're glad that it's open. But the next stage is to begin to say, how do we engage these guys to bring them to reality of what is on ground? For example, the budget was increased from 115 billion as proposed to 125 billion. When you look at the context of our economy at the moment, this is not the time to continue to pump in more funding to recurrent expenditure, because that's what basically it will go into. Whether they are maintaining their office complex, they are buying new vehicle. In my mind, I think those are recurrent expenditure to service government. It doesn't add value to the lives of ordinary Nigerians.
But the members of the National Assembly will always insist that these monies that they allocate to themselves are for reasons that affect the way they work for Nigeria. And this has happened at least since 2010, that I know that people have continued to ask these questions increasingly. So I mean,
so if they insist that it affects how the country is governed and how they deliver their work, I'll just single out one particular committee of the National Assembly which should play a very critical role, which is the Public Accounts Committee. How many times have we seen the Public Accounts Committee review audited reports submitted by the Auditor General? How many times have we seen this same committee indict government officials? Are they saying that in all of the years they've been reviewing the submitted audit report, they haven't found anything that requires sanctioning civil servants in the government? So those are the kind of questions when you say that this amount of money will help you do your work, and then we don't see value for the money we are spending. It raises questions about the type of work you're doing.
Going slightly away from the budget now and into how we're going to move forward from this. So like you said, this is a huge step. Knowing the details is a huge leap from where we even started from. Now, like you said, the next step is how do we now start making sure that we spend less and be a little more, spend less, pretty much,